people who belittle the service industry sometimes get their comeuppance. Yes, I am talking about Karens once again today, as I'm sharing with you the top 10 scary Karens who are humiliated. Hello most amazing fam, it's Abby here, and if you're liking the videos like these, make sure to put on a playlist and keep the good vibes coming. So, a Karen is an entitled person who repeatedly asks to speak to the manager and then presses you to the limit of your customer service expertise, and these Karens on our list today do just that, but embarrass themselves in the process. Let's get into it. At number 10, debating for deals. A retail worker was on shift when a woman came in with a large bag of coupons. Most were expired or doubles, so they could not be used. But when the employee told the woman that, she was not happy about it. She was calling the cashier names, saying they weren't doing it right, and eventually asked for the manager. The woman did the same rant again to the manager in hopes of a different response, but that is not what she got. The manager stood up for the employee, which amazing, love that. And they called the woman disrespectful and asked her to just leave the store. So we got a win for retail. Moving on to number 9, we have wrong lift. So a camera inside a Lyft driver's car shows a passenger in the back seat and the driver in the front. The side door is open because a woman is asking questions to the driver who is just trying to leave.
No, but who is the name?
They're already in my car.
I'm sorry, but you had a name assigned to pick up?
Yeah, and that's who got into my car.
No.
So she first asks who the name is that he was supposed to pick up, which it is a valid question, but when he answers that he already identified his passenger, she just won't put it to rest. She just keeps asking for the name and is giving major sass to him. She says, "You had an assigned name to pick up." And he responds, "Yeah, that's who's in my car." And she just says, "No." I don't know. I just find it funny whenever people are just like, "No, you're wrong." It's just comical, I think. She wasn't quite sober if I was to guess. But when he confirms that his car does not match the one she's looking for, she says F you to him as she leaves. And I get she doesn't like being caught in the wrong, but like, I recommend taking your L's gracefully. Moving on to number 8, fired up over fireworks. So this video starts with a woman all up in the face of whoever's recording the video, and they are in a heated argument, honestly, about the woman's dog being scared of fireworks happening on the 4th of July, and it's in the US because 4th of July.
Well, you wanted to know if I was on the phone. I'm letting you know.
God, no one has kicked your ass, have they?
No,
really
you know
deserve
what?
it.
No, because I've done it the other way around.
But anyways, the both are just yelling at each other, and at one point it sounds a bit like a cartoon you would watch as a kid. One woman is repeatedly yelling, "Go home," while the other yells, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And it just feels like something that would be scripted, but you can tell it's not. And then the woman with the scared dog just starts cheering, and for what reason I don't even know at this point, but then she says, "Who's the psycho now?" And this isn't scripted, I can't believe it. Anyways, on top of this, we find out the woman with the scared dog called the cops on fireworks, and I don't know where this is taking place. In different states have different laws, but the family that this woman is talking to does not seem fazed at all by the cops coming. They even start playing "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," and I can't, I feel so bad for, I don't know, everyone in that situation. Moving on to number 7, Dr. Karen. So a woman at a medical school was one of the mean girls according to a post by a fellow student online. She was apparently known for losing her temper a lot and generally being a bully. Then one day she lost it on someone for sitting in her seat. Taking the fact that this isn't a child, no, this is an adult in medical school, future doctors. So the person refused to move because it's a seat in a lecture hall, and the woman then brought it up with the professor. And that was a bad move because the prof gave a quote verbal beatdown about entitlement and how people like that make horrible doctors. Of course, that student left and the class applauded as she walked out. Talk about embarrassment, and I hope she learned from it to be better. Moving on to number 6, a hairy situation. So online, someone shared their experience with a Karen from a time they worked in a restaurant. The woman was demanding that her meal should be free when she found a hair in her food. And yeah, usually the situation is valid, but the hair was obviously hers. The worker saw that the long red hair was blonde on one end, and then that was just the exact same as the woman. But anyways, he went into the kitchens and asked the cooks if any of them wore a wig into work that day, and they told him, get out of the kitchen, and obviously the hair wasn't a match. None of them, not even close. But the server then went back to the woman and told her this situation, all while staring at her hair, and then said the manager could buy the table dessert to make up for this weird situation, because how could it have happened? But the Karen herself wasn't ashamed to get free dessert, but the rest of her table was absolutely mortified. They all just sat there and watched her as she just ate her cheesecake. I would have hated to be at that table so much. Hate situations like that. On to number 5, no fly Karen. Like no fly list, but no fly Karen. I tried. Anyways, so this time the person recording the video is the Karen. And she's talking to a very patient airline employee. She's asking where in their policy is it mandatory to wear masks, and she doesn't want to go online to see, like the worker says that's where the policy is. She wants to see it in writing instead.
At a person, no, because I called to them, here it is in writing right here. So it's in writing that you do not discriminate in these cases.
So the woman complaining says that in discrimination cases like these, it is breaking federal law. And first just pause and take that in. You got it? Yes? And then the woman continues into condescending the worker by saying, "You're a younger generation. How dare people not be able to board a plane without a mask? This breaks civil law," and on and on and on. Then she compares it to Nazis. And she says she's just educating the worker because she seems like a nice girl. How this worker kept their cool, amazing. At the end of the video, she plugs her website and she's like trying to do this like rant, and she's not even facing the phone's probably off to the side or something. And the worker's just trying to finish her work and be like, "Hey, can I finish helping you?" While this woman's just plugging her website in a rant video. I'm embarrassed for her. Honestly. Moving on to number 4, the girl and the goose. Once when a girl was 10, she was at her grandparents' house and they live in a lake, and that lake has a 20 feet of communal property from the shoreline up, so like more people get a little lakeside. So the girl was feeding the geese some corn on this communal property across from her grandparents' house. Just very sweet. But then this woman comes up, walks nearly halfway across the lake and tells the girl to stop feeding the geese on her lawn. It's not her lawn, by the way. And the girl is of course confused and says her grandfather said she could. So this woman marches the girl up to her grandparents' house, rings the doorbell, and is just in for a shock when the door opens because the girl's grandfather was the president of the local homeowners association and he was pissed at this woman for grabbing his granddaughter. On top of that humiliation, the girl made sure to feed the geese on that woman's section of the communal property from that point on, just for that little extra. Rubbing it in. On to number 3, McDonald's mix-up. So one woman left her card in the machine at a McDonald's. She rang up the manager and told the manager to drive the card over to her, as if it was the manager's fault or issue that had happened. And she was saying things like, "You ruined my night, you ruined my family's night, you owe me free food," and then the manager refused all of that. So the woman said she would file a formal complaint. But instead of doing that, she showed up about 45 minutes later with just steam blowing out of her ears, asking for her card back, and then didn't show her face there again. So I wonder what corporate said. On to number 2, more like throw a fit pillows. Like throw pillows? Heh. While working at a Cost Plus World Market, a woman rolls up to the cash register to make some returns. She is trying to return a cart full of very obviously used throw pillows. On top of that, she didn't bring a receipt and wanted to be looked up in the system, which is chill, look up in the system. But then she refused to provide any information about herself so that she couldn't be looked up in the system. And then she just starts yelling at the cashier, and that's when the supervisor steps in, try to save the day. And the supervisor asks very politely for the woman's name and phone number or a receipt to look her up. The woman just continues to lose it on the supervisor, and she's screeching and screaming about how they are idiots, how she will get them fired, and how she demands an apology from the president of the world. Yes, they were at Cost Plus World Market, but she forgot the word market, so she said president of the world. Yeah. The supervisor offered the corporate feedback number while trying not to laugh at that little moment, but the woman just wouldn't take it. She walked out the store yelling without taking the number and without taking her dirty throw pillows. Cut to 20 minutes later, she returns, apologizes, grabs her pillows, and they never heard from her again. So might have just been a little outburst. People have their day. Don't take it out on employees. Number 1, kicked off a plane. So in this video shared on TikTok, we see a woman with a stoic expression grabbing her carry-ons. Her movements show that she is pretty frustrated, and once the camera pans, you can see that everyone else on the plane is wearing a mask, while this woman clearly is not. And on a plane, when you are basically sharing a tube of air with others, it's kind of the least you can do. Come on. And so she's trying to walk through the aisle of the plane while holding like 3 bulky tote bags or carry-ons, and the people on the plane just start to clap as she leaves. And then she says, "Clap all you want, but," and then it just gets too quiet because people are just yelling, "Just leave, we have flights to get," and are just laughing. And choose your battles is what I'm trying to say here. Because that is the end of this top 10 scary Karens who were humiliated. And I just really want to know, what situations would you least like to be a part of? For me, it was being a member of that family when that woman put her own hair in the food. I just wouldn't want to be close to that situation. I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I wouldn't be able to make eye contact with anyone in there just from pure embarrassment. So let me know down below what you think you would not like to be a part of. Like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on all our socials. And I've been your host, Abby. Be kind and have a great day. Here. real me. And I'm up, okay. So moving on to number 4. 5, 4. Thank you. I just deteriorate towards the end.